So, Trump's authoritarian actions on Sunday, the 5th of October. Sunday was all about the deployment of the National Guard to Portland and Chicago, but it's a really confusing story, so let me break it down in this video. In September, Trump begins publicly threatening to send National Guard troops into Democrat-run cities, calling them lawless, and he named both Portland and Chicago as targets. Now, the Democratic governors of Oregon and Illinois publicly said that they do not want or need the National Guard in their cities. So fast forward to Saturday, the 4th of October, so 2 days ago, and Trump federalizes, i.e. he takes control of 200 Oregon National Guard members that he wants to deploy to Portland, claiming violent unrest there. Now, Oregon's Governor Tina Kotek immediately sues the administration, and on Saturday night, US District Judge Karen Immergut, who's a Trump appointee, issues a temporary restraining order stopping the deployment of the Oregon Guard. And in fact, her written judgment says there is no insurrection in Portland. She warns against military intrusion into civil affairs. And she even goes so far as to say the only threat we face is to our democracy, and it is being led by President Donald Trump. So now we get to Sunday, the 5th of October, so yesterday. And it starts off by Trump trying to get around the restraining order by federalizing 300 National Guard troops from California to go to Portland because he can't use Oregon's troops. Now, the Californian governor, Gavin Newsom, immediately sues the administration, calling it a breathtaking abuse of power. And then that same judge, Immergut, then convenes an emergency virtual hearing late on Sunday, and she blocks the Californian deployment too. And in fact, she extends her order to cover any federalized guard units from any state. Now, also on Sunday, Trump federalizes 300 National Guard troops in Illinois that he wants to deploy to Chicago to protect federal officers and assets. And Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem goes on Fox News on Sunday and calls Chicago a war zone. It isn't a war zone. And Illinois Governor Pritzker also sues the administration to stop them using the National Guard troops. And then late on Sunday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth joins in, and he signs a memo federalizing 400 National Guard members from Texas to go to Chicago and Portland, citing credible threats of violence. Now, the Texas Governor Abbott is very willing. He's a Republican. He's very supportive of the administration. So where we stand at the moment is that you've got the National Guard that have been mobilized in Illinois, Oregon, California, and Texas, but not deployed to either Chicago or Portland because it's all being fought out in the courts. So this is an evolving situation, and I'm guessing we'll get more clarity as the week goes on. And this also, it doesn't mean that there's nothing happening in these cities. ICE, the Department of Homeland Security, and Border Patrol are all still active there, but it's basically an escalation in Trump's attempts to use the National Guard against Democratic-run cities and states.